Good morning. Welcome back. And today I'd like to give you guys an in-depth review after 2,000 kilometers on a 2019 Commander XT. Basically what I like, what I don't like, and any issues I've had. And I believe I'll even throw an ease of maintenance category in there. It's easy to review after you just get it and everything's hunky-dory, but after you've had it for a little while, I believe most people have at least one or two complaints about anything, not just the Commander, but whatever it is you may find yourself in. So right off the bat, power, completely okay. There's no issues with power. For the type of riding I do, power's absolutely fine. Ease of maintenance, real quick, I haven't had to do anything crazy on it. Oil changes are a little harder than they could be. I just did an oil change on a 2003 Grizzly, 17 years old, and it was a lot easier than working on this. There was no seats or anything that had to come out, and you know, a bunch of different panels to pop off just to get at the oil filter. Grease fitting locations, a lot of them are fairly accessible. The drive shafts are, you know, they're a pain to get to, but it is what it is. Any issues I've had, there has been, I don't know if it's a coolant leak or what the hell happened, but my coolant reservoir was just empty one day, and I pulled this cover off here, and when you pull this off, you gotta kind of pop two panels out, and then this thing lifts up and pulls out. When I pulled this off, this cap here, which is your reservoir cap, was just completely loose, and I had to top off the coolant. So it wasn't overheating, and I just happened to bend down and look under the rig, and I saw that. Ride quality, I haven't touched the suspension at all, and it's been completely okay. Fuel economy, fine, no complaints there. It does everything I hoped it would do. Now, if you get the black like I did, and you go through any trail that's not been pruned regularly, it gets scratched to shit very, very, very quick. So you can't see it now because I used some of this stuff on it along the whole body, and that's covering all the scratches right now, so you can't see it, but there's scratches everywhere, all along the doors, all along the plastic. They're a different kind of plastic, and it looks like they fade in the sunlight. I don't know what the hell that's all about. It's not a complaint, but it's just a note. So if you like it to look all the same, you're gonna have to silicone it a little more. Now, some of the common complaints I've heard about the Commander, and any Can-Am. So a lot of people, yeah, you know, oh, you're gonna blow diff seals, it's warranty doesn't cover anything. Well, if you get buried up to here in mud and then blow diff seals with assassinators on it, well, shit, what do you expect, man? For average trail riding, there's nothing wrong here. It's a good rig. So you can see, that's how I have my radio set up, so I have tunes while I ride. And it's kind of dark, so let me grab a light. So you can see there, I just had the diff serviced. Everything's looking good. I just had the gearbox oil changed. Everything was good there. They didn't mention anything bad going on. The brake squeak has just started, but that's on every Can-Am, and from what I understand, that's a brake pad issue. I did have one incident, and I don't know if it slipped out of gear or what the hell happened, but I was coming out of the woods. I was driving through the trail on low range, and I went to shift into high because I got onto a road, and I don't have the video clip anymore, otherwise I would include it. But the gears, it's either slipped out of gear or decided to change gears when I was going about 30 kilometers an hour, and it made a very loud, horrible grinding sound. And the tech who changed the gearbox oil, he didn't mention anything about any abnormal amount of metal shavings, so I would assume it was just, it didn't shift properly. So that's partially my fault, I suppose. But aside from that, it's been a good unit. I haven't had any complaints. Guys complain about the belt blowing. Yeah, my belt hasn't had any issues. You're supposed to put it in low range if you're going slow. That's just the way it is. It's not a Yamaha. You know, my Yamaha, my Kodiak, you could leave it in high and crawl all day long and the belt would not burn out. So that, in that regard, it was very, very cool. But these, you got to look after them a little bit more. In terms of what grease to use on your suspension, you can use the standard XPS suspension grease from BRP, or if that's not available, I just use something like this. Super old school, but believe it or not, this stuff works just as good. This is what the city guys use on the dump trucks and stuff like that. It works great, and it does just as good of a job. Other than that, yeah, would I buy it again? I absolutely would buy it again. Hey.
How's it going?
Not bad, you?
Not bad.
Is there anything else you can think of that I had issues with? I said about the gear shift, I said about the coolant issue.
No, not really.
Yeah. Any complaints on yours?
No.
So Dad's got the 2016 that you see in the videos, the camo one.
No regrets.
And, nope. So, ease of maintenance, would you say, because you've worked on yours a little bit more than I've worked on mine, would you say there's anything that's ridiculously hard to get to? Or I know the oil change is a bit confusing, but not confusing, but difficult to, it's not as easy as the Grizzly.
Things are tight.
Yeah.
Just like on ATVs, things are tight. But that's just
So engine heat in the summer, it gets hot in the cab. It does. Engine noise, same thing. It gets hot and it's raining, and I don't want to get the camera too wet. So because the engine sits right here, you get a lot of engine heat and the noise, the drone. But again, you know, I said this in the first review, the reason we can get this storage compartment here is because the engine is further up. So it's a trade-off you're going to have to make. But I know a lot of people, the biggest complaint, is they complain about engine heat. That seems to be the big one.
You get it on the ATVs too. Your
Yeah.
legs burn, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So it's nice in the cooler weather.
It's nice in the fall or in the winter for sure.
Yeah, like I went out, one of the first rides I went on with this, it was minus, I think it was minus 16 or 17 that day. And the engine heat actually kept it a little bit warmer inside the cab. I can't stress this enough. If you're going to get the black, you might want to make sure you prune the trails a little bit more before you go through. But other than that, yeah, I would definitely buy one. Again. So, if you guys enjoyed that, if it was helpful, please hit the like button. If you want to see me actually riding this, check out the channel. There's some videos of this rig in action. Hit the subscribe button if you like that stuff. I'm going to do a solo camping trip with this pretty soon, so you might want to stay tuned for that if you're into that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.